Welcome to the Tech M&A Podcast. Presented by the Corum Group. Today we are speaking with Heriberto Garcia, the founder and former CEO of Vialterna Comunicaciones, a leading modern telecommunications firm serving all of Mexico. For 15 years, Heriberto built Vialterna into a powerhouse of connectivity before navigating a successful exit to a search fund. Having prepared his company to be truly sellable, he joins us today to share his journey, from attending a life-changing seminar decades ago to managing the complex rollercoaster of a modern M&A deal. Let's begin. Heriberto, could you introduce yourself and Vialterna?
I'm Heriberto Garcia from Mexico, the former CEO of my company, Vialterna Comunicaciones. Vialterna is a telecommunications modern company using multiple ways to connect anything, and we serve all Mexico.
How long were you in that business, and when did you first start?
15 years and 10 days. Because we closed 10 days after we started the company originally back in 2010.
How did you first learn about Corum?
I attended an IBM event called Lotus Sphere for Lotus Business Partners. And then we saw, my partner and I, we saw something like selling your software company. We attended the conference that happened that Mr. Bruce Milne was hosting the conference. I remember every bullet in that seminar. And honestly, I applied it during the process, but that was 30 years ago, imagine. So the seminar worked in my case. I mean, we started selling the first company, but it wasn't successful. But then after those years, we approached, I mean, in my mind, I always remembered the code. So went to the website, put a request on inquiry, and I was contacted by Steve Jones and William Hill. So that's how it started.
What was the main motivation for the deal?
Well, the motivation was from the very beginning. When I started the company, I stated that I wanted to sell the company when it was the perfect timing. So the motivation was, I'm 64 years young now, about to retire, right? That's another motivation, correct? But the main motivation to do it was my retirement, and I didn't contact any other M&A. I contacted Corum, that was it.
Looking back, were there any surprises while you were in the market?
Yeah, well, many surprises, but I know what you mean. I mean, we had a couple of pleasant and not pleasant surprises, right? One of the first surprise was I always said that I didn't want it to sell the company to an investment fund. As a fact, I rejected one offer, one LOI before, but then the pleasant surprise was to get to know these search funds that in my case, I believe in their case too, we had a perfect match. So that was a very, very good surprise to me that we've been approached by other companies or the telcos. But with these guys, I mean, we made it through. That was one. And the other one was in the due diligence process. We encountered many surprises, some of them not so pleasant, right? About my company, right? I wanted to have everything documented and ready to deploy, ready to share to the due diligence consultants. And I wasn't fully prepared. I thought that I had everything ready, but then I discovered that I wasn't. So I have some advices for people that want to sell the companies. One of them was and it may be a suggestion for all people that want to sell the company, is to fully understand what's the working capital. That's bit tricky. So that was another surprise. But we made it.
What type of external parties did you engage to help manage the deal?
Well, first of all, we don't have an internal legal department, so we engage with them. So that they helped us with the legal DD, right? The other was a very good surprise, by the way. Uh, we invited a financial advisor for us that helped it during the financial DD. That it went really well with their help, but also with the tax due diligence. And maybe an advice for others: don't leave the tax uh, chapter at the end. You need to consider it is the very, very beginning, and to tell your buyer, your potential buyer, that you know about the taxes and what is involved and what is needed. Uh, but those two um, companies that we invited really helped us in managing this deal. But besides that, no other company was invited. Only them. I mean, besides obviously Corum.
Is there anything you know now that you wish you'd known before starting?
As I said, the tax thing is a very important thing, right? I think that running a pre due diligence is needed. Definitely, that's 100%. It's a very good advice to do it prior to starting to start the due diligence. So what I mean is maybe the due diligence is going to vary, right? I mean, the buyer is going to bring new questions and new requirements. But if you run a pre due diligence process by yourself, I mean, uh, that will help big time. That will also help the companies to understand their businesses better, because you have the information that eventually will be needed by others, right? So if you prepare doing that, uh, you will uh, have a very successful due diligence. I guarantee you that. That was one of the things. The other one was uh, respect your own company, behave like a big company, uh, doing things ethically correct, transparent, pay taxes, prepare everything to be shared without any delays. That's very important. If you are being requested by some legal or tax or technical inquiry, you need to reply it as soon as possible.
How did you select your partner over other potential buyers?
In my case, as I said, to find a search fund, very different than expected, right? So, surprisingly, the process was very, if I may say, academic, right? By the rules, by educated people. We've been lucky in getting these very young and talented people interested in us. Rather than selecting, we were expecting, I should confess, buyers, right? But when we were approached by this search fund at the beginning, I said, no, I don't want to sell to a just for the money, right? I need maybe a major company doing what we do, but uh, I would say all of the above. But the criteria was, for me, we picked on the first interview. I can say that I was so prepared in sharing my company that they get it. We were not there to hide things from anybody. I mean, we are here, and this is our company. And that could be yours. So, and that worked really well.
What advice would you give to CEOs selling their companies in Latin America?
Great. Learn about valuation. That's a major thing, because you may think that your company is worth something, but it could be much more, or it could be much less than what you think, right? So learn about valuations. Uh, the second thing is make a firm decision. I mean, if you have partners or your spouse, even your kids, uh, uh, make a firm decision and start looking for companies or a company like Corum. But once you start, there is no turning back. There is no midterms, because those will be very, very bad. So be very straightforward in what you're looking for. And if you learn about valuations and if it doesn't fit what you expect, then work in your company to be sellable. I mean, work on those key parameters and key financials, taxes, legal, technical. Do the job before. The main advice that I would share: be authentic. Don't hide anything. Be yourself. Don't act like somebody else. Run your company. Don't distract from selling it to operating it. I mean, do both. Learn to do both things, right? And maybe a little advice, but don't tell anybody. Shut up. Don't say that you're selling your company. Wait. And avoid at all costs to tell your staff what you're doing. If you're going to do it, tell them, but expect reactions from people. So my recommendation is don't say anything to anybody.
Finally, what does life look like for you after the deal?
Oh, great question. I was expecting something like, my retirement, or first of all, you need to learn how to be rich before you get to that point, because if not, you're much likely to lose a lot of money. Expect a transition period. Don't expect that somebody is going to buy your company as buying a car. If you sell a car, basically you get the money and the car is gone. In this business, there will be a transition, and that transition is not like a month or two. It could be like 3 or 5 years, in my case. So expect a transition. Don't assume that everything is going to happen from day one to the next day. Everything is ready. No. And if you're counting that your company valuation is X, think that that X will be the result of a very complex formula in the SPA. So that is going to happen.
Heriberto, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today. Thank you for tuning in to the Tech M&A Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with your friends, colleagues, and fellow entrepreneurs. We release new episodes every 2 weeks, so make sure to subscribe and stay up to date on our latest interviews and tech M&A research. And while you're there, go ahead and drop us a rate and review. And if you have any suggestions or topics you'd like us to cover, please reach out to us on social media or email us at info@corumgroup.com. Join us again next time for more inspirational stories and practical tips from tech founders who have successfully navigated the exits of their companies.